so many high earners end up broke. I've worked with people who have earned 50 grand a year and who are earning 500k a year. Some of the £500,000 earners are far more financially fragile. High income does not equal wealth. I'm Dan Thompson. I'm a chartered wealth manager and multi-business founder. And today I want to talk about how so many high earners end up broke. And this is something I've seen through my entire career. And it's actually painful to watch, as you can imagine, because you do your best to help people, but some people are, let's just say, beyond helping at some point. So let's try and stop these mistakes happening today. And I'm going to give you an insight into kind of why a lot of high earners end up broke. I've worked with people who have earned 50 grand a year and who are earning 500k a year. And what surprises most people is that some of the £500,000 earners, some people earning £500,000 a year, are far more financially fragile than some people who are earning 50k a year. And I promise you that is so true. You know, I do this for a living. High income does not equal wealth. And if you don't understand the distinction early, you can end up earning more than 99% of people and still feel trapped. And that's crazy, right? Earning £500,000 and you still feel trapped. So today I want to explain why high earners can end up broke. And I don't mean dramatically broke. What I mean is quietly fragile. Income is not an asset. You know, the biggest misunderstanding that I see is that people treat income as wealth. Income is just a stream. Wealth is a stock. Income stops when you stop working, your business slows, regulation changes, industry changes, or a key contract ends. However, wealth continues. You know, high earners often optimize for bigger months, bigger deals, bigger bonuses, but they don't convert income into durable assets to build wealth. And that's their first mistake. So lifestyle inflation is really subtle, you know, it can creep up on you. Nobody wakes up and says, I'm going to be financially fragile today, right? It happens gradually. You know, you get a better car, you get a better house, you maybe send your kids to a better school, you go on better holidays, and each upgrade, I suppose, feels earned for most people. But fixed costs quietly rise to match income. Now your burn rate is high or higher than what it was before, and your psychological stress increases, and you don't feel rich, you feel obligated instead. And one of the big things I try and help people with is over concentration risk. You know, most high earners, people earning a lot of money, are overexposed to their own business, they're overexposed to their own industry, they're overexposed maybe to one geography, and their entire wealth engine sits in one machine. And they believe it's working now, so it's just going to continue, right? And it's such a misconception because I've seen it so many times during my career. And I've seen people go from 2 million, 20 million, 100 million projected net worths to liquidity stress within 18 months because everything was concentrated. You have to learn to extract properly. Entrepreneurs, business owners, they often reinvest everything into their business, which is not necessarily always the wrong approach. It can certainly be the right thing to do, but you need to build discipline around capital extraction. You've got to create holding structures. You've got to take profits systematically. You've got to allocate money into diversified investments. You've got to build a defensive layer. A lot of business owners hope that their business is going to be their retirement plan, and that is exceptionally foolish. I've seen this fail time and time again. Hope is not a strategy. People confuse looking successful with being secure. The optics are strong, you know, watches, cars, apartments, but underneath, no diversified portfolio, no liquidity, no retirement strategy, no long-term compounding taking effect. And I call it performance wealth. It's not structural wealth, and it will come back to bite them, and it will bite hard. There is a massive cost to not structuring wealth effectively. This is psychological. If you don't define enough, you would always escalate your lifestyle with income, and your baseline will constantly rise, and so will the stress. This means more income, more obligation, like I said, more stress, no freedom, and that is not wealth, or at least my definition of it. Right, so here's the real fix, because high earners who do end up becoming wealthy do things differently. They convert income into assets early on, they keep lifestyle below capacity, they diversify away from their industry, they extract profits systematically, and they think in decades, not quarters, because wealth is built quietly. You know, it's built with structure, it's built with processes. Fragility is built loudly. And sadly, time and time again, I see people who are earning a high level of income, a lot of money, buying things to impress other people, for validation, and it comes at a cost. It comes at their freedom. So if you're earning well right now, good. But ask yourself honestly, the tough question. If your income halved tomorrow, how secure would you actually be? That answer tells you whether you're truly wealthy or you're just earning.